Hey, Hal here. I want to talk a little bit about our partnership with OnX Hunt. I've been using it for a while now, and if anybody knows me, they know I'm not a very techie person, but the OnX app is it's a real time saver. I remember the days when we poured over topo maps everywhere we was going to go and stuff, and I don't do that quite as much anymore. Where it's really helped me is scouting, whether it's deer scouting, a moose, or even turkey hunting in the spring, which I do. It really helps out. I don't have to spend as much time running around the truck burning up the gas. I'm just basically using my OnX. Got it on my phone. Don't even carry a GPS anymore. So I just download the areas where I'm going to be hunting, whether it's up north moose hunting, and I use it mostly on the satellite imagery. I like to see the cuts and the clearings and the turkey hunting, the hidden fields and stuff. But everybody's using it now, from the game wardens to land surveyors, and just a great tool. And with our partnership with OnX, if you use a code BWB, you're going to receive 20% off on your first premium or elite memberships. And you just go to onxmaps.com/hunt. You'll be glad you did. Good luck on the trail.
This is the Big Woods Bucks podcast. Come explore the big woods and timber in North America with your host, Maine master guide and deer tracking expert Hal Blood. Listen to Hal and co-host Joe Cruzy as they unlock the secrets to big woods whitetails. Each episode will provide valuable insights into the tried and true system Hal has used for the last 40 years to scout, locate, and hunt mature big woods bucks. Listen and laugh as the crew discusses Hal's legendary adventures and learn how to apply a lifetime's worth of lessons from the big woods to your own hunting and outdoor adventures.
Welcome to the Big Woods Bucks podcast. We're having our annual Big Woods Bucks get-together today. Annual meeting, party, cookout, whatever you want to call it. So all the boys are up today, and we've had a great day. Some people come in yesterday, but did a little shooting down the range today. Got that out of their systems, get ready for fall. Running deer shoots, skeet shoots.
Yeah, kudos to Bob on his running deer setup.
That was quite the contraption.
Ever since the first year that we started doing that, his wheels have been turning.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And he really... Did you get good footage of that today?
It's impressive, too, and it took him a long time to set it up.
A lot of thought, but the whole idea that it's continuous, that it keeps going is pretty neat.
Yeah.
You got some footage of that we can show, right?
Yeah, I'll put that up now.
Real.
I'm editing it. Yeah. You could see.
Get on that, Brian.
Yeah, no, I was telling him, I'm like, that's how you're going to make your millions. Like, patent that thing. It's like a crazy contraption. I don't know.
I told him that same thing. I said, you got to get a patent on that thing.
Yeah, for real.
Absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah. So anyways, we thought we'd do a little podcast to bring everybody up on to date what's going on here with Big Woods Bucks. And there's a lot of it. So first, for you that didn't know, sitting next to me is Brian Connor, our new CEO as of this year. And, we've made the announcements on Facebook and stuff, but if you podcast listeners didn't know that, that's who he is.
Yeah. How you doing? Good to be on. It really is an honor, It's cool. I started as a fan. Like I always say, I still am a fan. So it's definitely an honor to be here. Yeah.
Brian, how did we hook up with you anyways? What'd you hook up with us?
Yeah, so it was you guys had posted something on Instagram about wanting editors, and I had responded, and then I sent you an email with a video that I'd made because you'd said send in samples. I had some corny video I sent in.
I don't remember that.
And you said, it wasn't remarkable. And
now, see, that's the sort of thing that you got to bring out at the meeting and show us that, because
it's too embarrassing. I actually took that right off YouTube. It's it's beyond not knowing what you're doing.
So you came a long ways.
Yeah, definitely. And then Hal wrote back to me. He's like, Chris will be in touch. And then I never heard from Chris, which now knowing Chris and the way the company works wasn't so much of a surprise, I suppose. But
Shots fired, Chris.
yeah. So, but then Chris hit me up. No, it was Mark hit me up in September of 2021 and said, "Hey, you want to be a cameraman?" And for 2 weeks, you'll follow. 1 week you'll follow Rick around, and 1 week you'll follow Lee, Good Lee around. And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, Chris will be in touch." And then I didn't hear from Chris for about another week. And then I finally talked to Chris. And, Chris was so enthusiastic because I was like, oh, how difficult can this be? I'm just going to follow somebody around the woods with a camera. But, I was familiar with Big Woods bucks. I didn't really know the whole history, but I learned it from Chris. And I got so pumped up that I didn't tell Mark and Chris at the time, I was scheduled for back surgery that October. And I was so pumped up. I was like,
I remember that.
I'll be fine. I didn't.
I remember you told me that. Yeah.
Then, well, after a day with Rick, I was like, I need that surgery more than ever. Oh God. I think we went 12 miles that day.
We did, yeah.
And I was dying. But it was the greatest learning experience I've ever had. I haven't been hunting long, and I'd read Larry Benoit's book, and I read your book a few years later, but I never really understood what was involved in tracking until I followed Rick. I didn't understand the scale. Like, I'd follow a deer for, 500 yards and then could talk myself out of it. I never realized, like, you need to follow a deer 10 plus miles.
Some days, yeah.
Yeah, and catch up.
Yeah.
And so that was a big, revelation to me.
Yeah.
And then since then, I haven't had much success, but we've had a lot of fun times, me and Rick, and I had a great week with Good Lee, who's sitting here too. And then Mark asked me to do video editing, and the rest is history. We got a good YouTube thing going back in, that would have been spring 2022. I think we went from 10,000 YouTube subscribers to 105,000 now. So
yeah, unreal.
It's been
so
quite a journey.
Chris called me up and he says, and Hal did too, and he says, "Yeah, we got a camera guy to follow you." And I says, "Where's he from?" He says, "New York." And I went, "Oh." And I said, "What's he do for work?" He's a lawyer. And I went, "Oh."
Right.
Double whammy.
I know we're really
said,
popular.
So Chris says, "Whatever you do, don't be easy on this guy." He says, "You push him for all it's worth, because if he's no good," he says, "let me know."
Yeah.
So
that would be Chris.
Yeah, you're still here. You made the grade.
Yeah, I mean, I was at a point in my life, that was 2021, and I don't want to say I was totally sick of being a lawyer, but I was ready for something else in my life. And
How long had you been a lawyer when you were sick of it?
It's about 3 years. That's about as long as it takes. And I took 2 weeks off. I was paid, but I broke even because I had to buy all my own camera equipment. And it was one of those moments in life where you're just like, am I going to take this opportunity and plunge in, or am I going to pussy out, if that's an appropriate thing to say on the podcast?
It takes a lot of balls to do that, to be honest with you, going from where you went to school and having to explain to everyone, this is where I was going with my life, and now I'm going to go follow Rick Labby around with a camera.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty strange. I mean, I grew up in New York City. I'm a fifth generation Brooklynite, but I always had the hunting tradition in my family. My dad hunted when he was a kid, and and I was always obsessed with fishing. But I didn't really start hunting until the first year I took it seriously was 2018, and I hunted about 7 days, super deep snow, and I pretty much lucked into an 8-point, which is still my only big woods buck. I've been trying to get after him ever since. We'll probably get into last year's story. So I've always been, an outdoors person, but, taking the plunge fully into that lifestyle.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is hard too is it's not like Brooklyn is a hunter-friendly environment. I mean, you're criticized by anyone that you talk to about it, so you got to kind of,
less so than you'd think, because I think there is kind of like a movement among like young people about like, I think it's part of like the organic food movement, kind of, and like self-sufficiency. So it's not as foreign as you'd think. Like there's not as many like most people, it's foreign to them, the idea of hunting in Brooklyn, in the circles I grew up in. But when you explain to them the concept of harvesting your own food, that's something that resonates, and they're like, "That's cool." You know, that's something that I can understand.
Yeah.
And I actually have brought friends of mine, you know, introduced them to hunting, who you wouldn't think would be into it, but got into it for that reason.
Yeah.
So, but that first day with Rick had me questioning everything. I'm like, boy, I don't know if I want to do this.
He finally, we got pretty close to that buck, and
A few times.
yeah, pretty close. Yeah, quite a few times. We never got a shot at him, but we finally got. We come to that big cut where that buck had chased a bunch of does all around, and I said we're gonna make a loop around this cut and try to find his track coming out, so we don't waste a lot of time looking for his track. So we did that, and I cut his track going out, and we come to a brook, and I think I says I'm gonna take a drink right here and eat a half a sandwich. I had a half a sandwich left, and Brian says, "Care if I sit down for a few minutes and I'll catch up with you?"
I think it was in my camp. I don't even think I asked for permission, nor did you give me permission to stop. It was my camera had started.
Oh, that's
bugging
right.
out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. And I just like sped off, and I'm like fiddling with it. And I look up, I'm like, where did this guy go?
Yeah.
And then I'm tracking him for
Yeah.
like a mile. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, he
And,
caught up with me on top of that mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Which mountain was that, Rick?
You know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Rick's actually mentioned it on the podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had to. I think you had like an issue with your business and you couldn't make it back till like the next Friday or Saturday.
Well, we hunted the next day. Right.
I think I went with Mark the next day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
because we got back to the truck.
Yeah,
and
I
you
had a guy.
text and you were-
I had a
yeah.
guy quit on me.
Yeah.
And we were doing a big job.
It's
so
funny
I-
because we were
I
back
had
at the
to leave.
camp, and
You
told-
almost had number 2 quitting on you probably that week.
Well, that's funny though, because you got back to the camp, and Mark didn't know me from anybody, and we're back at the camp, and Rick was like, I had a guy quit on me today, and Mark's like, him? And I'm like, no, it's not me. I'm like, I kept up, I didn't quit, but
Yeah.
and then I followed Mark and Bob around.
That's
the rest
right.
that
That's
week,
right.
and
I
then-
forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we hunted again Saturday.
Yes, I came back.
Yeah.
Right. I came back and we got back on that same buck again. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. We found his track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a whirlwind.
Yeah,
Something about you trackers that I've noticed, coming from like a normie like myself, a beginner, your attention to detail is crazy. Like we, this past season we went like 14 miles one day with a 4-mile walk back to the truck, and still to this day he's like, you remember when we were at that maple and it was next to the stream? I'm like, no, it's totally a blur to me. I'm like, I don't remember this stuff. You remember when he turned right and he crossed the doe track? I'm like, no, I don't. But I
Yeah.
feel like one of your secret weapons is that attention to detail.
You got to count all the tracks you see on the way.
Yeah, they were
Which way they're going.
because we were just talking about how when Mark first went with you in 2006, and I had the footage of that, which I'll publish soon. And you were like, "Oh yeah, I remember that track," and then it went here and there. I'm like, "That was 18 years ago." I'm like, how do you remember the track in that detail?
Yeah. A lot of them you remember.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
So then last year,
we got to talk about that. Yeah.
I think it's
Look,
important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I think it's good.
Yeah, I came up, beautiful snow day. I was on my backup gun. It was an old Browning BAR.
Yeah. Belonged to your uncle or something?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
my great uncle. Shout out my third cousin Eddie, who sold that to me, or gifted it to me. I don't know how close to the ATF is gonna listen to this podcast. Anyway, it came
we still
Came
live in
into my- came
America,
into my
Brian.
hands.
We still live in America.
came into my hands, and I carried it like 4 or 5 times ever.
Yeah.
And
Probably never tracking though.
no,
With it being that, focused all day long, probably before you were still
Yeah.
hunting, a big difference.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you too. I mean, like where I hunt in the Adirondacks, it's the southern Adirondacks. It's like there's nothing like the bogs that you guys have here,
Right.
where you're like up to your knees like that. It's so much thicker here. I mean, there's pockets of spruce where I hunt, but like it's nothing like going all day and that kind of stuff. And I I figured out later I'd just basically, I'd been carrying the gun. And, well, first of all, we went about 7 miles. So we found the track right away. Like, daylight. Yeah.
Heavy snowstorm that morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we were partying the night before, and everybody's like, they're not going to be moving. It's going to be tough to find a track. And then, Rick speeds down these logging roads. He's like, and he just goes, we just skid to a halt. He's like, that's a big buck track. We immediately got on it, and we went 7 miles probably.
Yeah.
And the entire time, or most of the time, we were 100 yards behind it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he never stopped all day.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't stop one bit. And we got just to this weird patch where he'd done something weird. Like
we were probably more like between 300 and 500 yards behind him, and when we got to that 100-yard mark, you could see more detail in the track, and he had just gone through that brook, and the brook hadn't even cleared up yet. That's when I knew we were close. And
right. And then so I think I'd fallen. I'm not as nimble as Rick. I mean, I'm like a bigger guy, much bigger. And,
yeah, we went across the beaver bog with it had probably a half-inch, 3/4 inch of ice, and he lost his footing, so he went to step on that ice, and then it broke.
Yeah.
So to camouflage what just happened, I grunted.
Yeah.
So I knew we were close to that buck. I said, he is right here. I mean, we could even smell him, even with it snowing. I said, he's right here. We just couldn't see him.
Yeah.
And I said, we got to just sneak up that hill. So when he fell through the ice, I just grabbed my grunt, and I grunted 3 times. I said, if that buck heard him, he's probably going to go, oh, that's another buck. And that's exactly what happened, because if we had stayed and stood right there, you'd have killed that. Well, yeah, you might have killed.
Come right toward us, and
Yeah,
might have had a second longer. But
yeah, but your gun was still messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Either
going
way.
through that thick stuff, basically, my hand had pushed down on the bolt a little bit and knocked it back a fraction of an inch. You wouldn't even know it looking at
Yeah,
it.
just enough to roll that bolt, just a fraction, and it won't go off.
So we come up that little knoll. Sorry, Joe. We come up that little knoll out of the bog, and Rick's like, "Stay in front of me," and he's right behind me, and I'm just going like, and we published the GoPro footage, and you can see me going down the track, and I'm just scanning, corner of my eye, bit of brown going that way in the opposite direction, and you can see
He's going right back to where I grunted.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I swung, Rick, hit the deck. And I was like, I mean, that was
And to
as easy
clarify
as a shot
that,
as you
to
can
clarify that, because there was some comments on that, like, "Oh, you shouldn't have swung over him." He and I talked about that, and I said, because I was showing him how to track, and I said, if I see that big buck and you don't, I said, I'm going to drop to my knees, and I said, you just step right up and shoot over me.
Right.
I said, just step right to me and shoot right over me. I said, I'm just going to drop right on the ground.
And in this instance,
And that's just what I did.
I think I saw it first too, and
You did.
but you knew
Yeah.
you knew just by the way I was swinging that you needed to hit the deck,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and it was such a perfect shot that you had time where you even got up and you looked at it and you're going like shoot, and I'm like it's as easy as a shot as you could ever get.
Yeah, we should have killed him right there.
I mean, it should have been over, and I was just like lined it up, like no buck fever whatsoever, just like this is a chip shot. I mean, he was 25 yards probably, and just looking like this, and had no idea what we were. And click, and I published that video, the big click.
Yeah.
Click heard around the world.
Click heard around the world, exactly. And then we chased him 7 more miles.
Yeah.
I don't think we really got as close.
You fired
that
at him
day.
twice after you've racked a
Yeah,
shell in after
yeah,
you missed.
right.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
moral
we-
of the story is don't use the
It's-
third backup from Uncle Eddie for a gun.
That is it. And look, there's a reason how and the team members give advice, and there's a reason that one of those pieces of advice is don't switch your guns up. And that's a perfect example. A hard lesson.
And it may not have necessarily been that you hit it on anything, because there's times when they're just not, they don't hit hard. If you're trying to be quiet, let them in.
Yeah.
If you don't push them forward, I mean,
You almost
on a semi-auto.
Well, I was
it's
shooting it
easy for
today,
that
and
to
it
happen.
literally-
on a
misfired
semi-auto, you really got to let it slam.
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
a good piece of advice for everybody, that if you've ever had a semi-auto not go off, you're probably getting out of the truck or getting in your stand and go, I got to be real quiet. And you when you put that one in your chamber, you just let it go forward. Well, it didn't lock in. So
hit the lever,
Click.
hit the button, and
Yep,
let it go.
Let
full.
it go. Let it slam in.
Well, I was shooting it today at the shootout today at
Yeah.
the picnic, and it misfired again. So it might not have even been that it had been knocked out of place. It
Oh,
might
so
just be-
now you tell me.
yeah, no, you didn't see that.
Bad ammo.
I don't know if it's bad ammo or a bad gun. But that's going on to the That's
You
going on.
you
That's being
inherited
retired.
Uncle Eddie's ammo with the gun.
yeah. Apparently,
Cousin
yeah.
Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie. Everyone's got a
Who knows
cousin Eddie.
now? Yeah, they're not my family anymore after all this. I'm kidding. Yeah,
Well,
so
like we were talking about last night, those or this morning or at some point, those ones like that, you will never ever for the rest of your life forget what that deer looked like.
No, never.
And that scene,
Yeah.
never. You're more likely to forget the scene of one that you kill over one that you miss like that.
yeah, no, it's permanently burned into my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Not least because I have the entire thing on video. And then we almost killed it the next day, and I learned another hard lesson the next. Look, it's weird. I started hunting, let alone tracking, 5 years ago, and I'm like with one of the greatest hunters of all time. I'll embarrass you a little, puff you up a little bit, and it's a weird disc. You learn a lot, and some of those lessons are hard. And like I was, I was pretty bummed out, as you can imagine, afterwards. And Jeff Paradis, I was texting with him, and he said, "Good lessons don't come cheap." And I was like, "Boy, that's the nail on the head right
Good
there."
piece of advice.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's words of wisdom.
Yeah, Jeffrey Paradis.
He's always got something.
He does.
He's a smart man. So,
Yep.
Yeah, very talented guy.
and we went 7 more miles that day. 4-mile walk back to the truck. It was an 18-mile day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't believe that, but it's true.
I have the Onyx data, and I replied to a comment with it.
Yeah.
But, some people just won't want to
Yeah.
accept it. And then the next day, we got right back on it. Tracked up 5 miles.
Yeah, and I
in.
brought my gun to hand to him for a backup.
Well, after that, so yeah, I mean, we weren't taking any chances because Rick had a 7600.
You're right.
And so obviously we left the bar behind, and when we took his two 7600s, because your 7600 you'd had issues with the previous year.
Yeah.
So we're
with
just
a
not
clip.
taking any chances with any
Yeah.
guns. We're taking 2, and we're getting back on it.
Yeah.
And then we tracked up the next day, like classic feeding. You're like, he's going to be right here. He's going to be right here. And I popped, and you were saying this too about going with somebody else, and this is something to keep in mind, I think. But you kind of speed each other up, because it would be like, you'd be like, all right,
It's
get
pressure.
in front of me.
It's having a guy
Yeah.
behind you creates a little bit of pressure, and
Yeah.
it's different than being all alone. Definitely.
Because he'd be like, he'd put me in front of him, and then I'd feel like he was coming up on me, so I'd kind of move ahead, stay in front, and like we kind of speeding each other up a little bit too much. So I pop out of a little, like softwood thicket thingy, and looking down the track, scanning from left to right, and then, oh, there he is, he's gone. And I went back later and looked at the GoPro, and you could see me looking there. And you can see in the GoPro, because it's it's slightly angled that way, you can see him just stand up out of the bed and just look at me like that.
Yeah.
And you could see the second later me look at him. Another hard lesson. I mean,
Yeah, you might
go
not got a
slower.
shot at him that day, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he was in a thick fir thicket, and basically saw 2 hops. So I mean, you would the one hop and the second hop you would have had to shoot him.
right.
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah, we had fun though.
Learn some lessons.
I learned some lessons.
yeah.
Yeah. Those painful lessons are the most valuable, though.
And not just emotionally painful, but my knees were hurting me so bad I basically had to take a week off from hunting after that. Yeah, Rick goes hard. Super hard.
Yeah, hopefully I can go as hard this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Why? What would keep you down, Rick?
please.
Yeah, well, I don't know if many people know it, but May 2nd, I come down with a fever, and then about a week later, I was diagnosed with spinal meningitis. And I ended up in the hospital for 8 days with a fever of 104.5, and they did a spinal tap on me. I broke out in just these huge welts. All my skin on my hands peeled off. And I've been, I think, 5 weeks now since I got out of the hospital. My knees are starting, so they stop aching and hurting, and bottoms of my feet. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty scary. But sickest I ever been in my life. But I'm coming back around now, so I'm pretty confident I'm going to be back.
It seemed like it was when it was all happening. You know, you think with something like that, with all the symptoms, that they diagnose it pretty easy. But
No.
I mean, they were wanting to know where you went hunting all season, and they thought you picked up something from
I
it.
had a really good doctor, and he come in every day into my room and said, "Do you think of any other place you've been?" And he'd go call Arizona. He'd call a doctor in Wyoming. He called doctors in Nebraska. And he said, "Have you had anybody with these symptoms? I got this guy, and he hunted there, and I'm trying to narrow down to see if I'd gotten bitten by a tick from maybe out west or something." And they took 52 vials of blood out of me in 8 days and for blood tests, and they ended up.
Surprised you didn't die of anemia.
I know.
Took all your blood.
Yeah. So I ended up. They did that spinal tap on me and came back that I had a spinal virus, and which was spinal meningitis. So I guess 25% of all people die from spinal meningitis, and like 50% of all people over 50 die from it. So
wow,
it's pretty lucky.
That's
I had read that 25% stat, but I didn't know about the other one.
Yeah.
Or permanently disabled. Or
Right. That too.
Yeah.
And that when I got out, I couldn't walk. I mean, I literally couldn't stand on my own legs.
Bet Brian could keep up with you then.
Yeah.
Great.
And I was pretty worried for about a week if I was ever going to get back to normal. You know, I was. I said I'm probably done, and I'm getting back to normal now. Though I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
But
You're back at it a little
you never
bit.
know in life what's going to hit you. Though I've been healthy my whole life. Never been in the hospital in 40 years. And very seldom ever catch a cold. Like once every 3 to 5 years, maybe I'll get a cold or something for a week, and that put me down for almost 8 weeks straight.
So did they ever determine where that comes from? Like how?
Nope, not really.
You pick up some bacteria.
I read on it. I read on it a lot, but the doctor, he never really confirmed it. But my grandson, my oldest daughter's son, he's 2, and he caught hand, foot, and mouth, which is a disease young kids get at daycare. Well, he caught that, and then my daughter caught it, and my granddaughter caught it, and they were like 3 days, and they broke out the same welts I had, and the bottoms of my daughter's feet bothered her for just 2 or 3 days, and then it totally went away. Sierra told me that her feet hurt really bad. And it's funny because mine hurt for a month, you know, so whatever and it's funny, so it went away, but then he told me, he goes, well, spinal meningitis, he goes, hand, foot, and mouth can eventually turn into some adults into spinal meningitis.
Yeah.
So I guess they think that's where it came from, but
That's messed up.
who knows nowadays, right?
Well, it was good when you finally came around because it was.
Yeah.
It was touch and go for a while.
All these guys were calling me like every day. How you doing today? You know, how you doing? How you doing this week? And Chris called me like every day. And for a while I was like, no change. No, I'm not good. And then finally a couple weeks went by, and I go, yeah, I'm about 50% better than I was a week ago. You know, I can tell I'm finally getting better, and now I notice a change every week. So I think I'm almost there.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was pretty scary. It makes you realize that life's pretty short. It could have all ended right there. And
Yeah.
any of you guys that got goals out there, things you want to do, I'm just going to tell you, I don't care how much money you're making or how much, you think you got to work. When it's over, it's over. So you got to go do it. You got to take the time to do it.
Right.
Do it now, not next year, or because you just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been fortunate. I've done stuff my entire life. I've just been that type of guy that I had to get away from work, and I just constantly traveled out west or wherever I had to go, so I was away from work. That way I couldn't be brought back to work, which that happens a lot when I'm hunting up here. Something happens down with, the construction business, and they'll call me, and I got to go home. So, a guy quits, or accident or something. But if you're on a trip, you're there,
Yeah.
You just kind of got to say, well,
get
yeah, handle it this way. I'm here for the week to hunt. So I always channeled it that way, and I don't regret a bit of it.
Pine State Armory in Skowhegan is your ultimate destination for hunting and outdoor gear. Located at 338 Madison Avenue, we're more than just a store, we're family. Nick and Jess and their friendly dogs, Bailey and Ruby, are always ready to greet you. Pine State Armory is a family-friendly store where safety meets expertise. Your kids are always welcome, and if you're new to the sport, we're here to help with gear recommendations and the knowledge and information you need to get started right. Looking to buy, sell, or trade firearms? Whether new or used, we have what you need. And to those who serve our country, we're proud to offer a military discount as a token of our appreciation. Visit us today at Pine State Armory, 338 Madison Avenue, Unit 8 in Skowhegan, and experience the great outdoors like never before.
Hey folks, Rick Labby here from Big Woods Bucks. I'm here today to tell you about our new packs. This is our new small pack, which the first time I saw it, Chris showed it to me and I said, that's the nooner, because that's the perfect pack if I'm getting on a buck track at noon. And it'll hold the sandwich, your water, a little bit of gear. It's virgin wool, made in USA, waterproof resistant, has a liner on the inside. It's a great pack. This pack, this is our newest large pack, which when I used to carry the older pack, I always wore suspenders because it bothered my hips a little bit. So we designed one with shoulder straps, and this is a great pack. It takes the weight off your hips, puts it onto your shoulders. It's got a GPS pouch right here in the top you slide in. Same deal, it's water resistant on the inside, got that liner. It's a perfect pack. So I go to bigwoodsbucks.com, get yours today, and I'll see you on the track.
As you all know, Big Woods Bucks is devoted to promoting the best equipment for tracking and still hunting the big woods. Part of that equation for success is the sights that sit on your hunting rifle. We've chosen Skinner Sights as the company to produce our custom-built BWB Tracker Series peep sight. It's constructed of solid steel, has our custom ghost ring, and was co-developed by some of the best trackers in the world. To get yours, go to bigwoodsbucks.com and click on the Optics tab.
Hey, Hal here. Just wanted to tell you we're excited about our partnership with Minus 33. Minus 33 specialized merino wool base layers for outdoor enthusiasts, from tops and bottoms to hats, socks, gloves. And our gear is going to keep you warm and comfortable no matter what adventure you're on, especially those big woods ones. We're a fifth-generation family, owned and operated, a New Hampshire woolen textile manufacturer. They have over 106 years of woolen expertise, and they started manufacturing woolen socks, the Mountain Heritage ones, in New Hampshire in 2018, with the idea that a quality product, affordable pricing, and can be worn and loved from season to season, no matter what your experience level or skill is, so no one should feel uncomfortable or ill-prepared in the outdoor community. Having a reliable gear is one of the first steps towards a lifetime of passion or whatever activity it is. And my caveat to that is you got to wear your woolies. Cotton is death. Hey everyone, Hal here. Summer means it's almost time for Huntstock. So this year there's going to be two. We're going to have the one in Westminster and over by Utica, New York, with the Adirondack crew. And I'll be at both of them with the guys from the team. And we'll be there having fun. It's a great event. Been to the last two since they started in Mass. Great time, great people, lots of things going on, lots of prize giveaways. Big Woods crew will be doing some seminars, podcasts, just interacting with all of you, having fun. That's what it's about, gearing up for deer season, and it won't be long till it gets here. So anyway, you buy your tickets at huntstockevents.com, and if you use the BWB code,
you can get your tickets with that code. But what we're going to do, a little something special. We're going to do it at the Massachusetts event in Westminster. Everybody that has a ticket with a BWB code is going to get a free meatloaf sandwich. And word has it, we might even have a fire pit to toast them on. So get your tickets ordered up and get your meatloaf sandwich at lunchtime on Saturday, and we'll tell some deer stories, have a good time, and can't wait. Going to be a fun time. Order up your tickets, and we'll see you there.
I know you did another podcast and talked about it, but I don't think you came on this one and talked about your trip, your season this year. It was what, 50-something flights you did?
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year?
yeah. Well, it was. So I did seven hunting trips this last fall. It was the most I ever did, and I was on 52 different planes. So that's counting. You know, you change planes sometimes 2 to 3 times in a course of a day, but I was on 52 flights total.
Yeah.
So
Taylor Swift's got nothing on you.
nothing. No, she. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got burned out on hunting trips, believe it or not. By the time I was done in Arizona, I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Well,
done.
you made it down to the Adirondacks, and what did you think of that?
No,
experience?
that was. Oh, I like the Adirondacks a lot. Yeah. I see a couple pretty decent bucks there. I actually didn't realize those were good bucks for down there, and you know, they were probably both about like that 8-pointer right behind Hal. I don't know if you can see that on.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian told me you should have shot them.
Yeah.
But I was looking for, you know, something wider and more like a Maine buck. But
Yeah, it's different class.
yeah,
really.
but nah, I really like the hunting down there, the old woods and the big timber and being open and just having to hike in and get in that back country. And I was impressed by the number of deer, a lot of deer.
You were saying it looked a lot like what Jackman looked like.
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the
like
day.
30 years ago before they cut all these hardwood ridges and stuff. And
Right.
you had all that mountain ash and the undergrowth and everything. That's kind of reminded me of that.
Did it remind you of the Connecticut woods where you're from, though? We got to tell this story. So,
Yeah, you got to tell that story. I've never been to Connecticut in my life.
So we pull up to the gas station in Rockwood that morning this past season, and a guy from Massachusetts plates anyway, hops out. It's very confidently says, "Mr. LaBelle, how you doing? You still down in Connecticut?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a Connecticut accent, Rick has."
Yeah, I got a Connecticut accent. Yeah, I looked at him. I said, "No, it's Labby." I said, "Rick Labby." "Oh, yeah, yeah, I know." He says, "What's the difference, right?" Or something like that. I said, "Maybe he's got a French accent, LaBelle, you know, Mr. LaBelle." Yeah. So he, I said, "I've never been to Connecticut in my life." I said, "I've flown over it a few times."
It's funny.
Yeah.
We were
You've
thinking
never
maybe,
driven through Connecticut?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Oh, you gotta get there.
Yeah, I just thought you traveled down that way a bunch of times.
No.
Can't really get anywhere going out of the Northeast without going through there, but
Yeah.
That's true.
Anyway.
I mean, there's like I-95. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But it's possible.
He doesn't drive, he flies.
Most of the time I fly, I do,
apparently.
yeah.
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 Right.
I leave a pickup out west at the airport, and I got a little small airport that I fly into out there, and believe it or not, they don't charge me a dime. I've been leaving my truck there 12 years, and
You just screwed that up because I know there's a guy at that airport that listens to the podcast.
oh, great, you better edit that out. So I've been leaving my truck there, and so usually whenever I hunt out west, and my cabin's 100 miles from the airport, so I'll fly out, jump my truck, go to camp, and if I'm hunting in another state, I'll either load my side-by-side or my camping gear or whatever. I leave pretty much everything right there at my cabin, and then just head to where I want to go, and works out pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just swinging it back a little bit there.
We had a good picnic. I mean,
Yeah.
we
So
got some good stuff ahead this year for Big Woods Bucks. We've been recording a new podcast, the Adirondack Hunt podcast. Me and Mark have been taking point on that. We've recorded 5 episodes so far. About to do another one when we finish here. Our new jackets should be coming out hopefully around the first Huntstock New York, and they have awesome design improvements. I won't get into them all now, but the 2024 jacket is going to be awesome. We got lots of fanny packs in stock, small packs in stock. Other cool videos that are going to be coming out. We're going to be releasing all those old tapes. I'm going to call them the Ontario tapes, but it's going to be it's all your hunts from
When Hal
back in
didn't
the
have any
day.
gray hair.
Yeah, that's right. We were looking
He
at
looked
some
like a
today.
young fella.
Yeah, and Mark looked about 14.
I know he
Yes,
did,
yes,
too,
He was
yeah.
in his
Yeah.
30s, but he was like totally baby faced. But
What are
there's-
those going to be on a just like shorts or something?
No, I'm gonna like release the whole thing unedited, like just uncut tapes
Clips
from.
hooked together?
No, like a full length, like 40-minute.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
tape.
So you're going to hook all the clips together.
Oh, they're already hooked together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're already like I converted the old mini DV tapes to digital, so it's like a 40-minute file. I'm
Right.
just gonna upload
Yeah.
them.
Huh.
Yeah,
I'll have
that's
to
gonna be
watch
cool.
that so I can refresh
Yeah,
myself.
you should. Oh, by the way, I gotta give you your tape back from your caribou hunt from 1987, 2 years before I was born. You're not. The problem with that though is you're not in it because you're the cameraman. So I can hear you the whole time, like talking to your family, all your family members and your buddies. And but I don't think you appear once in the entire tape.
I got photos.
Actually, that could be cool if I could cut those in. Yeah,
You were born in '89.
89. Please tell me I look younger.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
No, it's just funny whenever you hear that because
No, because you're so old.
right, exactly. Graduated in '89.
So when's your first Adirondack podcast coming out?
So we're looking at a mid-August launch date.
Mid-August. Okay.
We're going to record a bunch at Huntstock, New York. Quick plug for Huntstock, New York. That's going to be July 19th through 21st, Friday, July 19th through Sunday, July 21st. I know you're going to be there. I think you're maybe on the fence.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to make it, but
So, yeah, I mean,
you going
it's-
down?
To the New York Huntstock?
Yeah.
I wasn't 2 weeks ago because I still wasn't doing very good, but I may now.
You oughta. It's going to be
Oh.
cool. It's in Vernon Center, which is like
Yeah.
central New York, Utica area. The 88K trackers. Are
What's
gonna
the
be
date? What's the dates on it?
There. July 19th through July 21st.
No, I'm going to be in Wyoming.
Oh, okay.
Nancy already booked the tickets.
A little nicer than Utica,
Yeah.
New York.
Huh?
A little nicer than Utica, New York.
Yeah.
No, I love Utica.
No,
but
I
could
would have.
Utica.
I'd probably go if we hadn't already booked that. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, you'll be at Huntstock, Mass. Anyway.
who's going down from our guys?
Hal is. Goodley, are you going? I don't know if
Stephen may go.
Steve. Okay, Stephen
Yeah.
Shands may be there. I think Neil is going to be there. Obviously,
Pat's-
Mark Austin,
Pat said he was.
Pat. Oh yeah, Pat. You're going to be there.
Bob and Mark.
Bob, Mark, Austin.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good crew. We're gonna record. Hopefully get the Adirondack track.
I'll be at Massachusetts, so I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to that in.
Yeah, that'll be August 10th through 11th. Well, check it out right now. Maybe Chris.
Yeah.
What's the venue down there, Brian? Do you know?
I think it's like some kind of upland game, like bird farm kind of deal. Like some kind of like upland
So
shooting
it's
preserve
another.
kind of
It's
deal.
like another farm type.
Yeah, it'll be like
deal.
a farm type setting. It's like farm country.
Hence the name Stock, Huntstock, like
Yeah.
Woodstock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Farm. Yeah.
Yeah, Yasgur's farm. Going down to Yasgur's farm. All right. We can get you the dates.
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
Huntstock
Patrick
Mass.
told me the other day they're gonna have an outdoor shooting range, some type there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I guess it's permitted for that because it's
Yeah.
like an upland thing.
Yeah.
Huntstock, Mass is going to be August 9th through 11th.
Right, 9th through 11th. Right.
And use, for the quick note for the listeners, use code BigWoodsBucks for 10% off both Huntstock, New York and Huntstock, Mass. Just use
Yeah.
that code. And,
There you
and it's a
go.
great show. I'm not just like puffing it up because we're going to be there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like it's really, and I'm not.
It is fun.
I'm not.
Patrick's done a great job with that,
Yeah.
putting that together and building it. And I know he didn't do it alone, but from my
Like, yeah.
memory, he was the one that was
Yeah.
pushing it and getting it going. And
Yeah, no, I think he's kind of had a visionary kind of like recreation of the hunting show because I I don't know, my personal feeling, I'm not going to single any show out, but I was never really into the idea of going to walk around like, some indoor convention center and going to different booths. But this is like a totally immersive, fun experience. Like, they got like the archery range and stuff. Not that I did it, but there's just all kinds of stuff to do. It's pretty cool. So yeah.
what else do they get for their Big Woods, using their Big Woods Bucks code?
I don't know, because
in
well,
Massachusetts.
I know what you've promised, but I, as your CEO, I have to, exercise my fiduciary responsibility to wonder whether you can deliver on on all these meatloaf.
Those sound like lawyer words.
Meatloaf sandwiches. Hal has promised the meatloaf sandwich to everybody who
Be
uses the
making
code, but I
meatloaf
don't know
all day.
I don't know what that's going to look like.
We're gonna have at the Massachusetts one. We're gonna have, for anybody that buys their tickets online with a BWB code, they're going to get themselves a free meatloaf sandwich and get to toast it over the fire.
See, I texted Neil, though, after you posted that, and I'm like, Neil, I'm a little concerned. Is Hal going to be, like, sitting at a fire toasting sandwiches all day? Like, he's got to do seminars.
We're not doing it all day. It's going to be a lunch hour window.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it'll probably be 11 to 1.
I'm not downing you.
All you guys that
I'm not
do
down
that get to hang out with us and tell.
Yeah.
We're going to tell buck stories and
It's going to be good. I'm just
shoot the shit,
exercising healthy.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
It's going to be good. Come get, you know what? Come get your meatloaf sandwich. Use code BWB, get 10% off and get your meatloaf sandwich.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys will get.
We're even going to get the authentic bread that the girls use, because every day when they make the sandwiches, it's a different bread for a different meat.
Nice.
So whatever meat goes with I think it might be oat nut. That's good.
All right.
So we might have oat nut bread, and then Deb makes a special spread that goes on it too.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious about this is I posted as an April Fool's joke like a couple years ago, like buy the branded Big Woods Bucks meatloaf sandwich, and here we are.
It's coming to
We're
fruition.
selling Big Woods Bucks meatloaf sandwiches.
Maybe we should make up a little Big Woods Bucks Brandon iron, and we could.
That's kind of how I had
You
it.
could cook them, toast them, and brand them before they eat them.
Yeah, we ought to do that. You can get it. You can get it signed too if you want.
I'll cut one out with a plasma cutter.
Am I allowed to have peanut butter and fluff around the fire, Hal?
No. You can manage the booth.
I'll sit at the kids' table.
Yeah, the kiddies' table. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
That'll be fun. Toasting a sandwich and
Oh yeah.
whatever your favorite beverage is, I guess.
Yeah, we'll all be there. Pretty near the whole team, right?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. And the film festivals before
Lee's
that.
gonna be there, and yeah.
How many entries? Are we having any entries in the film festival?
Yeah, well, you tell 'em, you guys, you and Jason.
Yeah.
I
Is
guess
there
are
any more beyond that one?
I don't know. I have to reconnect with everybody.
Yep.
I think Mark and Austin might submit their Adirondack hunt if we can get that edited in time.
Okay.
I don't. Other than that, we're gonna do the classic category. We'll enter Brutus in the classic category, and we'll enter our video that we first made together.
Yeah.
At least.
I thought you might put mine in from this year into it.
With you and me.
No, the 45 one.
Oh, we can enter that, yeah, if you want to. That's what I mean. So I'll hook up with you. We'll talk about that. We can enter that. And we could enter Mike Stevens' too if it's done by then. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, I mean we'll never any shortage of videos at Big Woods Bucks, that's for sure. So we'll get some entries.
That one of you and me that day, we never put that footage together. We got a lot of footage though.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna have. I'm gonna try to get Nathan Nelson from Stillwater Outdoors, who has a great YouTube channel by the way, and he's been doing a lot of editing for us to edit up yours and my video.
Right.
Cause it's funny because
And these videos are all from New England.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, all from I think the Northeast.
Yeah, the Northeast. Right.
It's funny because for you and I's video that how we just described where I missed the buck, this comment made me laugh. People always comment all kinds of colorful stuff on videos, but the guy was like, because I posted in that post, I was like, full video coming this fall, and he's like, wow. What are you gonna watch? Like a full video? You missing a buck? I was like, yeah, there's a lot more to it, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get that out eventually anyway.
Yeah.
I see. I'm not in too much of a rush because I know what a filmmaker Jason Del Plazo is, who's standing right here. So I know where that prize. I can pretty much guessed where that prize money's going. So I'm not
No, don't say that. Don't say
am
that.
I jinxing
No,
it?
you absolutely. I think
Hey, I
it's
got to cut a CEO.
I think it's going to be a hunk of crap. That thing won't even be worth watching.
Yeah, let's just not even enter it.
We didn't film that for Masterpiece. We did first.
That's right. We were just filming a moose hunt. He followed us.
All right.
It should be pretty good though. He got some nice footage.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's Joe's archery main moose from 2023 for context. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
I think there's one more announcement we got to make about what's going on with the logo wear.
Yeah. I mean, we got Leah and Braden, Leah Cruzy, Braden Fitzmaurice.
They're
I guess
both
technically Leah Fitzmaurice.
yeah, it's Leah Fitzmaurice now.
Leah Cruzy Fitzmaurice. In any event, our two young lovebirds, newlyweds. Well, it's been you guys have been married a while now, anyway. But they're knocking it out of the park with new merch,
Yeah.
and logo wear. Just like making cool hats and T-shirts. We're really proud of them for that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a lot of stuff up on the.
Is there going to be a special place in the store for that? You go to like logo wear in the store?
Yeah, if you go to bigwoodsbucks.com and then go to shop, and then it'll take you to store.bigwoodsbucks.com, and then you hit the little logo wear
right.
box and hit
I
that.
want to make sure I can find it.
Yeah, those hoodies are awesome. Those do you have one on right now? Can you come over here? We got we got to show this off.
Braden, come model that for us.
It's just awesome. It's
Yeah,
just
we all get a look at Braden.
so you won't be able
Yeah.
to hear Braden, but
Here we go for all you
give us a
women
little
out there.
give us a little twirl. Yeah, that's
Perfect.
the what do they call it? The heather green. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are pretty fly.
Snazzy.
Yeah. Everybody's
Yeah, we
got
were
to
up
have
at
one
the
of them.
we were up at the moose lottery, and basically Hal just brought along what he had at deer camp, just the stuff that was left over, and we figured I'd bring it up there and maybe we'll sell a few. Well, what was the temperature that morning up there in Fort Kent?
48.
Yeah, pretty cool morning. We could have sold 20 or 30 of those things if we had them, just because it was cold and everyone just needed something warm to wear, and
Yeah,
there we were, sold out.
I think it was because
cool.
of the way they look.
I think so too. I think they probably had lots of options, but they chose Bigwoods Bucks because it's
That's
the
right.
brand they trust.
That's what it is. That's why you're the
Yeah, so-
CEO.
Was that a good marketing pitch or what?
That was fun too. We went up to the lottery 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, no, yeah,
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and Good Lee's wife and daughter both drew tags. How many years, Lee? They've been waiting.
My wife's been over 30 and my daughter 18.
Yeah,
Wow.
combined 48 years of waiting for moose tags. They get them on the same day. So
And you waited
Yeah.
what 45 yourself?
I waited 40.
40? Yeah.
I've made good use of the permits that we've got, though.
Yeah.
Sure.
See if they're going to let me.
yeah, they let them defer it. It's kind of a nice thing the state does now for households that draw more than one tag, because really drawing two tags like
Yeah.
that, it's just too much meat.
Yeah.
You know, it's just too much. I mean, storing
Oh,
one.
and time-wise, drawing two tags in the same household, you got to devote all your time to one, and then
yeah.
you know.
Besides the fact Lee's running a business and
Right.
guiding people and everything else. But
Yeah.
so Christine's going to go this year, right? And then Kelly next year.
Opposite side of the state's the same week, so and I've already booked 10 moose hunters, so they're going to let me defer Kelly's next year.
So Kelly's is getting diverted to next year.
Yeah.
I wish they
That's
would have.
good.
Yeah.
And maybe if I would have called at the time, but a few years back, both my son and daughter drew the same year, and we ended up. I took my son donated his back for a veteran, and I ended up taking a vet. But it would have been. It ended up being great that way, but it would have been had I known we could have taken one year and one the next, and so I
Yeah.
think the state works hard to work those things out. It's not a perfect system, but they definitely are flexible and try to make it better for everyone and increase it for make it better for all.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to my moose hunt with Hal this summer.
Yeah.
This fall, right?
Drawing's pretty
I
quick.
got pretty good odds,
Yeah, pretty good odds.
like 5 out of.
Good thing you
300
bought a
something.
bunch of tickets, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Funny story. Chris is a money man, and he had just given me a lecture about being more thrifty, and we're at the Maine Sportsman, and I saw somebody else I bought a ticket for the for your raffle. If you want to plug that now for a minute.
Yeah, it's a outfitter tag. It's to help Operation Reboot, a veterans organization, build their sport. It's the first sporting camp in Maine for veterans. But anyways,
but it's a great cause. Don't get me wrong, and
Yeah.
I was happy to contribute. But I thought the tickets were $20, so I'm like, yeah, give me $5, you know. And then and I charged my card or whatever, and then me and Steven were heading up to go shed hunting after that show. And I'm like, I'm just looking at my bank account. I'm like, oh my God, $500 charge. I was like,
I hadn't heard that.
I was like, Chris just gave me a lecture about this. You can't find out.
Sucker.
So ever since I've been saying, me and Hal, I have to win now.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's actually, we were talking about this because a lot of guys are going to the raffle system on these tags now. And really, you're way better off to buy one of these raffle for odds-wise and the money it costs, because if you look at what you're spending, you know, on the regular one with the state and putting it in,
Right.
the $100 is a little more money, but your odds are so much better.
Right. And then over
because
the year,
once you do win, it's fully outfitted as
Yeah,
opposed to
done.
then you got to go get a guide and everything. So
oh yeah,
it's
I
really
didn't even think of that.
a bargain. And honestly, I think, you know, a bunch of the lodge tags can do it that way, and everyone can still do well. You know, it serves its purpose. It puts money to charities into good places, and that's something that a lot of people, I think, were a little bit confused about on Hal's, the one that that he's part of, is that I think some people thought that you had to be a veteran to be part of it, but the whole point is anyone can enter, but the
Right.
proceeds are
Benefit
going to
veterans.
benefit the
Right.
veterans.
Yeah.
yep.
That's a great
So-
point.
And anybody can hunt. It's not a hunt for a veteran necessarily. It's anybody can win.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to, if I can, shout somebody out. Just the guy at the marina I was telling you guys about, Matt Dorr. He's a listener. I ran into him at the Lake Pleasant Marina in Speculator, New York. He's got the jacket. He's got the pack. His brother's got the lightweight and the heavyweight jacket and a pack. Shout out, Matt. We appreciate you, man. So it's cool running into you. Cool talking to you. Maybe we'll hunt together someday. So
make use
All
good
right.
use of that tracking card.
Oh yeah, and I hooked him up with the tracking card. Actually,
You did?
The
Yeah.
plugs keep coming. So we got this new thing. It's a tracking. It's
Wait a
a
minute,
tracking
it's not
guide.
a new thing. We redid
Oh, I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah, we're reprinting it. I mean, you did it years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
people kept it got mentioned, and people started asking about them, so we had them reprinted.
Right. So it's in a nice like laminate.
Yeah, it's not land.
You
It's
know,
a plastic
or plastic.
stock, and you put it in your pocket. It's called a pocket tracking guide, and it looks like, you look at it and you're like, what the heck is that? But it's really,
It's got a lot of info
it's
on
all
it.
the info you
Yeah.
need to get going on a track, and it's right there. You can pull it out of your pocket if you're confused.
Yeah.
It's $10.
Yeah. So we'll get you one, Joe.
Yeah, all right. I bought two.
You gonna get me one?
Yeah, double confused.
I got the first one, and Hal signed it, so it's cool. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll have that up on the website eventually. But I gave one of those to Matt, which was cool.
Yeah.
So I hope it'll be useful.
It's made out of flammable material too, so if you're getting a pickle, you can start a fire with it too. It's
Be honest, something. That's not a bad idea.
If it's plastic, it probably would burn pretty good.
Yeah.
But you got to have a fire going.
right.
Right.
Well, I'm learning from Joe this whole time about how to do a podcast, and I'm learning a lot.
That's why you're looking
Yeah.
around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
were you picking up on how I was sliding your phone out of the way because it was giving us static?
Oh, was it really? Yeah. Oh,
See? That was
see?
good.
Such a
It was
newbie.
good
Is
over
that
there
right? I'll
when
just
it's
throw it
over
back
there.
here.
That's right.
You set it down on the cord, and it was going. See?
Yeah. This is why I'm here. I'm learning.
All right.
Learning about deer hunting, learning about podcasting. It's
Yeah.
constant learning.
Yeah. Teaching you all kinds
Dead
of stuff.
space is the worst. Something you want to learn about a podcast, Brian, is dead space.
and then it's like,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway,
I thought you wanted to have
Yeah.
Good Lee on and talk about you.
Yeah,
Hunt
if
with
we have
good
time,
Lee.
I guess. I don't.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lee can come take my spot.
Well, you take my spot. I don't care. What do you want?
Well,
Whatever.
It's probably easier for you to get out.
Or
so.
my-
All right. Adios. Here comes Good Lee.
All right.
All right. You can get back to your nap now, Rick. But it's okay. You need it.
Jeez.
I
The
want
way you
you-
were limping across the room there, recollect.
His feet are still tender. Give him a
I
break.
figure it might. Yeah, try to be a little more sensitive, Joe.
Yeah, that's what they call me, Sensitive Joe.
Yeah. I want Rick to be tip-top shape by this fall.
Oh, he's going to be ready to go.
No doubt.
We got to knock him down when we can because he's going to be going so hard once he recovers fully.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Do you have fun?
What's going on,
fun day at the
Mr.
picnic?
Shans?
Well, I think it's funny that my story about Brian was pretty much the same as Rick's. The first time I talked with him, I said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "New York City." And I thought, geez, and you're going to follow me and Rick Labby around in the woods for a week? And then I said, "What do you do for work?" And he said, "I'm a lawyer." And I said, "I'm probably going to offend you before the week's out." But he said, "Well, I don't get people off that do bad things." He said, "I prosecute people that do bad things." And I'm like, yeah, I could get on board with that.
Yeah.
Specialized in
Prosecutor,
prosecuting people that steal from
6
the
years.
elderly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we had a fun time that week.
we did. We ended up, I don't know if you remember it, but we started out the first part of the week. We didn't have any snow.
Yeah, no snow.
But we found a place. I actually killed a big buck in there the next year, but Brian and I found an old logging road, and it had probably been logged 20 years before. And we found, 20-something scrapes on that
I gotta
one.
go back and look at the footage, but I think it was like 21 scrapes. And you did a cool thing where like we took footage and we're like, 1, 2. I'm gonna make a reel out of that at some point. But that was wild.
And a lot of those scrapes weren't just like little parns. I mean, some of them were beat right down into the root system.
Yeah.
And so we ended up hunting down. That's down closer to where I live. And we found that one place. Like I said, I went back there the next year and killed a beautiful big 10-pointer in there.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of the week, we had snow up north.
Jackman,
So I took Brian up in my old honey hole. That the only people that I run into up there usually is just Hal and Matt Vinen. If I see any tracks there, I can't tell if it's Hal or Matt because they both got the same size lacrosse boots. And Matt's a little shorter than Hal, but he's got the same stride.
Yeah.
So if I'm up there and I get cut off on a track, I know it's going to be one of those two guys. But
I'll give you a little hint how you can tell us the difference, and this is only recently. Matt's wearing those Grange, the Burley boots with the air bob soles. So if it's those, it's Matt. If it's the Chevron Grange, it's me.
Well, while we're on that subject, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I'm going to get some of those with the air bob soles because when you're side hilling in wet snow up in Jackman where it's steep, those things definitely have better traction than a regular lacrosse.
You tried them?
No, I haven't. But everybody the people that I've guided, if they had them on, they didn't seem to be slipping and sliding as much as me.
Well, you wear the Burley anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that won't be a big change for you.
I like the Burley grip better. I tried, and it's all personal preference, but the air bobs, I didn't care for too much. I know a lot of guys love them, but I like the Alpha Burley Pros for traction and stuff. They seem to have the better on the side. They got the big grip on there. But again, it's a lot of times that's just personal preference.
So getting back to the story there, we were up by the Sugar Shack, and it took us all morning. It had snowed hard that morning, and sometimes they don't move good. So we ended up 2 days in a row. We went up there, and I don't think we found a track until after lunchtime.
Classic, just nothing moving.
But the first day, and I remember it better now because I just saw the footage. Brian is going to release that footage too. But the first day, we got into it wasn't a huge buck, but a decent-sized buck, but he was with a big doe. And at first I couldn't tell if it was 2 bucks running or just what it was because her track was almost as big as his. But we actually caught up to him and walked right up. She was bedded down in front of me and she jumped up. I thought it was going to be the buck. I had that fluorescent bead right on her butt and she was wide, but I'm looking, no horns. And Brian actually didn't think he got her on film, but when I watched the film the other day, you actually did get her. That was a big doe. And then the second day, we ended up...
Wait a minute. Where was the buck?
We ended up, we tracked him down into Oh, you've been in there before, but there's a bog down in below that. It's below, you know where that big yellow birch burl is? Down at the end of the road off the...
What did I say about trackers in the
yeah,
details?
but Hal will know.
Yeah.
It's down at the end of the town line road.
Yeah.
Down in there. He got down in that bog and we ran out of snow. We basically were tracking him in moss towards the end of it.
Yeah.
But we tracked him a long ways in the moss.
But you didn't see him when the doe went?
No, I was following the doe, and to tell you the truth, I think he walked right by her.
I think it was like a knoll-ish kind of thing. And he might have just been right on the other side, like.
Because we didn't jump him. We tracked him and we didn't jump him. We just tracked him down into that bog. But when he got down in there, it was lower country and it was wet and there was barely any snow, and I was tracking him in moss. And that's when the GPS, not the GPS, but the Onyx really helped us, because that bog has got some nasty, nasty wet holes that are thick down in there.
Oh, yeah.
And he brought up with the Onyx, and I'm like, yeah, we're not going through that. We're going to go around that. So when we went back the next day, same thing. We never got on a buck track until, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock, yeah.
And I said, we don't have much time with him, but I thought he was in that old cut that's in there, and he was just wandering around like he was looking for a doe. So I thought, man, we might catch up with him. So we tracked him. But then I almost think that we didn't jump him, but I think he was either heading out to search for some more does, or he knew we were on him, because he started long stepping it and he went right up over the mountain and came over on the other side of the sugar shack. It's actually, he came out one of the first places you brought me up there, those high ledges where Mike Featherstone used to set up his remote camp, right down there at the bottom. He came down over that, then we crossed that road and we started heading up that steep hill that goes up towards your remote camp. And it's getting pretty late by then, but we tracked him up that hill quite a ways, and then he got into that beach. It was all winter beach in there, and it was like 3:30, and I'm like, we ain't gonna catch up with him, and we got a long walk back to the truck. So this was on the last day you were there. It was on Saturday.
Yeah. Yep.
It was the very last day of deer season. It was a Saturday after Thanksgiving. So we had left my house at 4 o'clock in the morning, drove all the way up there on the Holub Road, tracked that buck all day and was pretty close to Canada, turned around, walked back to my truck in the dark, drove back down to Cornville, and we got to Cornville, and my wife said, Steven's on his way. He shot a big buck up in Zone 4, and he said it's like 3 or 4 miles in, and he wants to get your snowmobile to get it out. So I'm like, ooh. So Brian and I went in the camp. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, well, and that's all in the video we put out of Steven's buck.
It is.
Us,
Yeah.
getting
Nice.
the snowmobile into the truck and stuff.
Yeah. So we ended up, Brian and I ate some dinner and waited for Steven to show up. And Brian had to leave the next day, and he was like, well, do you want me to go with you guys? And I'm like, we're not going to get back till tomorrow morning. I said, it's a long ways up there, and we got to get the buck out and get back. So Brian stayed at my camp that night and left and went home. I got in the truck with Steven, and my youngest daughter, Christine, she loves to hunt and likes adventure. So she went with us. We drove all the way back up there, up where we hunt moose. And it was so funny because normally that area wouldn't get a ton more snow. But when we were in Jackman, even up there on the Canadian border, we had maybe, 5 inches of snow up there? Something like that, maybe?
Yeah, and the video's coming out soon. They'll be able to judge. But it was probably 5 or 6. I'd
5 or
say.
6 inches. We got up there in Zone 4 where Steven had shot his buck, and it was a blizzard up there. Well, we were plowing through. There were snowdrifts in the road, and the snow was coming right up over the hood and right up over, and you'd have to stop and clear your windshield. And we drove all the way in there, and then we parked at the end of the road where Steven had walked out, and it wasn't really a road. It was just a skid trail. Got my snowmobile unloaded. And Christine said, I'll just wait here in the truck for you guys. So Steven gets on the back of my Scandic, and we drive in there, and it is whiteout blizzard conditions. And there's probably 18 inches of powder up there. And it had snowed so much, and the wind was blowing so bad. When we got in there, and of course it's dark, it was like midnight before we got back up there. And Steven said, stop right here, Dad. This looks familiar. So we get out, but you can't even see his tracks from where we walked out that morning. And it's a good thing he's got a good memory, and he'd marked it with his Onyx. But we're stumbling around in the dark out there in the middle of the woods, and we can't see the deer. Well, it had died like down in a little hole, and it was completely covered with snow. We couldn't see it. I think maybe like one antler tip, and we stumbled onto it. So it was pretty steep uphill, and there was a lot of snow there and drifts and everything. I was like, I don't want to get the snow machine down in here and get tangled up in some brush and get stuck or something. But I said, let's just drag it up the top of the hill, and then I'll hang on to him, or hook onto him. So, with Steven and I and that deer, and we were like 3 miles in the woods. I'm like, I don't want to drag all this weight and, burn a belt or do something. I said, why don't you stay here, Steven? Just start walking out, follow my tracks. I'll drag the deer out and then come back and get you. So I get the deer out, get it loaded up, tell Christine what's going on, go back, pick Steven up. And we never got back until 4 o'clock the next morning. So I left my house. Everybody thinks that all of these stories that they hear, it's all glory and all fun. I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's hard work. I left my house at 4 o'clock Saturday morning and never got back till 4 o'clock Sunday morning. That was a long day.
It's still fun.
It was still fun. Yeah, but it's hard work and persistence, and there's so much that, goes into that story. I had actually, it's funny, people that know me know that I usually hunt with a Savage 99, but I do have some Remington pumps. Luckily, I picked some up just before the pandemic, so I'd started picking up a few Remington pumps. Well, I wanted one in 300 Savage because I'm a Savage guy. Well, Hal had just picked one up for Rylan, his grandson, and my buddy Brian Donaghy had bought one. I was like, I'd like to get a 300 Savage. So I think, Hal, you might have called me and told me that, what's the guy's name out in Wyoming? John. Yeah.
Fennelson.
John Fennelson. So I called this guy up and said, hey, I heard you had a 760 pump, and I'm interested in buying it. It's a 300 Savage. And so I get talking with this guy, and he's in Wyoming, and I don't really know him. He followed us, but I didn't really know him, didn't know much about his background. And he tells me that his grandfather used to own a bunch of land up in North Anson, and he's describing to me where his grandfather's land was. Well, when I was 18 years old, the year I got out of high school, I shot a 200-pound, 10-point buck on his grandfather's land. Now, what are the chances of that?
That's crazy, yeah.
And so anyway, I ended up with that 760 pump and 300 Savage, and that's what Steven was using. So I only had 2 boxes of 300 Savage ammo. I had a brand new box of 150 Remington Corlocks that Hal had got when he was working at Remington, and then I had an old box of Federals that were probably at least from the 70s, but maybe the 60s. So I sighted it in. They were 150 grain pointed bullets, both of them. So I sighted it in with the Federals, made sure it was on, and then I shot a few of the Remingtons to make sure they were pretty close to the same point of impact, and they were. So when I gave it to Steven, I said, make sure, shoot those new Remington Corlocks. They're brand new. And I said, I have no idea how old that old ammunition is. So when he had shot that buck, he went in there that morning, saw the buck track, and thought it was old because it was snowed in or whatever, walked around for an hour or two, never found another track, so came back, tracked that buck, and he only tracked it probably 15 to 20 minutes and shot him in his bed. But then he told me he shot it with that old Federal ammunition that was probably at least 60 years old. And I'm like, well, I'm glad it went bang for you.
Yeah, right.
A lot that went into that story.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's good.
Look at that, that experience. Something else we talk about a lot is people's different styles of hunting, and that experience following Rick, and then following Mark and Bob too, and then following you, seeing the difference in styles, and they're not so pronounced that I would say you do things totally different. Obviously, there's a lot in common. You're following a buck, but the way you would approach it, I think, was a lot different, and especially with bare ground. Like some of the stuff we were doing, we were sitting at times. We were doing a lot more calling. We were doing rattling, which actually this video might still be up on my personal YouTube. But it was my hunt in the Adirondacks, and in that hunt, that was right after my hunt with you. I went home to the Adirondacks, and in that video, I was like, all right, I'm about to sit down and have a sandwich and do a little grunting, shanty style. And I picked up so much stuff from you just about like when to grunt, when to sit, while still hunting. Stuff that I guess, Rick didn't do for whatever reason. But I've picked up plenty from Rick as well. I'm rambling a bit, but I think the takeaway is seeing different folks' style of hunting. So one of the videos that Nathan Nelson from Stillwater Outdoors edited, he did 2 videos from that hunt. They're coming out this fall. There's 10 still hunting tips, 10 or 11, I think, still hunting tips, where it's kind of like your still hunting style. And then there's 2 days of tracking. So the listeners, the viewers will be able to see how Shanzy does it, which is really cool. I think they'll really enjoy that. So,
You know what I say? You heard the saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat, one way to kill a deer, too.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I think...
Your gun just has to go off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as Rick was saying yesterday, you can track them all day, but if you don't shoot them, and
One of the things, though, that I do think that, and I want to stress this to the listeners, because I know Joe does it like I do now, and Rick too. A lot of people don't think you can call deer in Maine, and I don't. The only time that I would like sit down and call is if I don't have track and snow. If I got track and snow, I'm looking for a track too.
yeah, no,
But
for sure.
if you got crappy snow conditions, like if it's loud, I grunt every once in a while, or fawn bleed or whatever. Or if I think the buck is right there close and it's thick, I sometimes will grunt and look before if I know I'm close and it's thick, I try to get him to show himself before I show myself. And again, Rick's style might be different than mine, but if you've hunted as long as we have and killed as many big bucks, you're going to do some of the same stuff too, because it's what works.
For sure.
And you can call Maine deer, no question about it.
For sure. All right, then. Well, I guess we gotta take over your space and do an Adirondack hunt podcast.
Yeah.
So,
What are you giving us, the hook?
I think so. I'm sorry.
right.
Yeah.
Well, till next time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the dinger for the bell. Hit the bell to subscribe. Is that how it goes? I always get it wrong.
Let me do a proper
Okay.
Gen Z
Show
YouTuber
us how it's doing
outro. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Hit like. Follow us on
You got to
Facebook
ring the
and
bell, though.
Instagram.
Something about ringing the bell.
I don't know that one. I think you might have just made that up, Al.
Okay.
Unless I don't know. In any event, come find us on the internet. We'll be there.
That's the best way to put it. Just find us. Big Woods Bucks.
Yeah, big good bucks.
All right. Till next time, good luck on the trail.
Hey guys, Joe here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Lake Parlin Lodge. We're a 4-season lodge located just south of Jackman. We've got cabins, lodge rooms, mini lodge. We're a big snowmobile destination in the winter, full restaurant, bar, all the amenities that you need for your trip. Open obviously through the summer, right on the lake. Kayaks, canoes, all included with the cabin. We also do a lot of weddings, so if you're looking for a destination wedding, we can do a wedding up to 200 people. And of course, we've got our hunting season, moose season, deer season. So check us out. We're at lakeparlinlodge.com.
Hi everyone, team member Mark Sheeran here. Are you or someone you know struggling with a drug or alcohol problem, but you don't want to go to rehab or 12-step meetings? Well, that's exactly why we created our non-12-step Freedom Model Coaching Program. In our program, you can be coached by me and Michelle Dunbar through our in-house 2-day addiction solution workshop, or if you want to stay home, you can be coached through video conferencing on Zoom. Both options are powerful and proven effective. We've personally coached more than 27,000 people over the last 34 years. With the Freedom Model, you won't have any record of being treated for an addiction either. This is a huge benefit for those with professional licenses, or who are high profile, or simply who have a lot to lose with such a damaging label. If you're ready to change your life and solve your addiction for good, call me directly at 888-424-2626 and set up your free 30-minute coaching session today. I look forward to helping you. And here's that number again, 888-424-2626. Take care.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, good luck on the trail.